Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm bringing you another DIY top video. If you watched the cowl neck tank top DIY, which I got pretty good responses to, so thank you so much to people who watched it. It was definitely more clear than my normal DIY videos. I'm learning. This isn't anything super revolutionary from that. It's pretty similar processes, slightly different neckline, but one, it is a slightly different fit. This video I actually try to dive a bit into fabrics and whatnot and different strap techniques. So I did try to give you something a little bit different, a little bit like more in depth. If you haven't watched that, I will link it up below. I made basically the exact same tank top 3 times. One, because I wanted to. So these were created in inspiration of me just like needing basically an upped bra, essentially. That was it. That was literally the purpose behind this. So these are all cropped tank tops. I obviously want to say if you don't want it to be cropped, just add inches to the bottom. So yeah, if length is an issue for you, just make it to as long as what is comfortable for you and showing skin. But yeah, I basically am going to make 3 little crop tops and show you, in the end, it's really about different fabrics and straps. So let's just dive into it. The first one I'm going to show you, I created out of a t-shirt, and this was just pretty much a standard cotton t-shirt. You can literally make this out of a old t-shirt that like you were getting rid of, or especially if someone like had a bigger shirt size than you. I made 2 out of one shirt that my dad was getting rid of. You can go thrift it, find a shirt in the men's section, it gives you plenty of fabric to work with, and I literally was able to make a shirt using like the back of the shirt and the top and the front of the shirt, and then I had this left over, which because I'm weird, I now wear as a set with the other tank tops. First one I made is definitely the like least lasting technique, if that makes sense. In every single tank top, you're going to cut out the general shape that you want for it, which I think I used a tank top. No, oh my god, I cut a pattern. So I believe I used a bra, like a sports bra, because I wanted a very general like band across look, nothing too intense, pretty easy to sew, pretty easy to cut. So I definitely used a kind of sports bra, bralette type top, and just traced it out. I just did tracing paper, so it was easy for me to replicate this. If you were just doing it once, you could easily do, again, I literally did it in the cowl neck tank top where you just set it on the fabric and kind of measure it out or just carefully cut around without cutting your top. So they all have the same shape. Something I did kind of vary a little bit depending on what I was feeling was if I made the back lower or not, aka I just made it a smaller, like thinner piece of fabric than others, whereas some might be, I think this one actually that I'm wearing is almost the same length, width all the way around. So like, yeah, it drops here, but it basically like stays the same, whereas the others have a much more, I think, scooping back than this one. So that's something you can easily change. Obviously, if you just start with a big old rectangle and you're kind of nervous, you can try it on and cut what you please. But so after you have your front and your back, it is super easy to just kind of do right sides together, zip up both the side seams, and you basically have yourself a roughly fitting tank top. From here, again, exact as the cowl neck, I try it on, I kind of judge where I want the straps, kind of pin them or just kind of measure whatever's easiest for you, especially if you have a helping hand, they can pin it for you, and you can literally just sew it all together and you're done. From here comes into question how particular you are, how nice you want this to look, whatever. And I did varying degrees of that on all of my tank tops. So I only hemmed this one that I'm currently wearing, both of the t-shirt ones. Oh yeah, which I didn't say, this is made out of like a stretch jersey knit kind of material that almost has a thicker neoprene feel to it. This one I like went the hardest on because the fabric definitely like needed to be like rolled and hemmed on all the edges for it to look the best, or it was gonna kind of just like get weird. Whereas the fun thing with cotton, because it's light, when you are just letting it go, the raw edge, it'll kind of just roll itself. Obviously it does not look finished, it will look rolled, but if that's something that doesn't really bother you, I mean, that's how a lot of people like just crop their t-shirts and you just like let the bottom go. So it's essentially that look. The straps that I did on the first tank top, I did crisscross in the back, and these, again, for the straps, I simply stretched, I obviously cut the entire length, width, I keep messing those words up. I cut the entire width of like the shirt I was working with, so like for the front, you know, I cut the whole width of the front, and the back I cut the whole width of the back. You obviously, I always like to cut extra, you know, that way you can mess around with pinning and adjusting straps to what feels comfortable, and then you can kind of trim off the excess. These I did not properly sew in any way. I literally just like pulled at it, like if you've ever made yarn out of t-shirts where you just kind of cut a thin strip and then kind of yank at it and like roll it in your hands. And like I said, with cotton and a lot of stretchy fabrics, they start to just naturally roll up themselves, and this one did that. This is not the equation for longevity. This is something that will last a decent bit, but obviously it definitely has the ability to rip. I mean, you're essentially stretching this out, so it's just probably going to keep stretching. Not probably, it's eventually just going to keep stretching. Obviously has the easier risk of ripping, whatever. It's like kind of like, ooh, little DIY, but like a little put together. Is that my aesthetic? It will do the trick. Probably for like a while, you know, you're just not gonna have this for 10 years, you know, like it's gonna fall apart, obviously. If these straps rip, I can easily just put legitimate straps on, like actually sew some, which I did for the second one. So for this one, I just also wanted to show, like, you can obviously play around with placing the pattern if you like want to keep something that was on the shirt. So I tried to keep I kept the front emblem that's on like all of the Life is Good t-shirts, and so the exact same thing. I also did not hem this one, so it is a rolled edge all the way around. Again, as much as this bothers you, doesn't bother you, whatever. And for the straps, I believe I show you at some point that these are kind of like folded straps. So what I like to do is you kind of have to have the fabric, I believe 2 or 3 times as wide as you want them, which I never measure. Fold each side inwards so that they kind of like meet in the middle. Like you're not just folding it in half, you're like, if it's laid out, you take like the right side and the left side and you fold them in so that the raw edges meet each other, and then you fold that in half so that all the raw edges is like really in the fabric and it's basically all like sandwiched in there. That's just to really make sure like it's all in there and it's like pretty sturdy. I mean, you're essentially quadruple stacking fabric. This is too much for me. But you know, you're making a much sturdier strap. This is way more dependable, and this is also what I did for this strap. And especially with any kind of stretch fabric, it's pretty damn easy to do. Obviously certain fabrics are more stiff or move around more than others, making it a little bit difficult. But if you really just take the time to fold it, obviously if you have an iron, pressing it makes it so easy. So easy to do because it should just hold the fold at that point. I don't have that, so I just pin the shit out of everything and hope for the best. And then the fun thing I did with this was I decided to essentially do I don't know what this is called. I have the straps connected to the tank top like a normal tank top, where it's like in the front and then meets straight in the back, just goes right over your shoulder. But I kind of goofed and I made them a little bit longer than what fit me. And instead of cutting everything apart, because I was being lazy, I will be honest, I was like, well, we can turn this into a learning moment and do a different type of strap. So if we all remember those little things that clasp your bra straps together that were huge like 8 years ago, they're still a thing, but like they were huge because we used to care about seeing bra straps, which is the most bizarre thing ever to me. I basically just made a tube and I hand stitched it closed. That was really it. So this is kind of fun because depending on how you're wearing it and depending on how like tight and adjusted you need the straps to be, you can kind of like move. It's not a super like surefire way to like completely adjust your straps, because obviously you're just kind of like tightening them here mostly, but depending on like your comfort and how you're trying to wear it, it does help a little bit to kind of be able to move this around up and down to, you know, adjust how the straps kind of sit on you, especially in the front. And last, I did do it on, obviously, like I said, this more probably basically a jersey knit, but it has a very neoprene feel to it. It might have been considered an athletic material. I literally don't know. I compile material and then I just use it years later, so I never know what anything is actually for or from, but I really like this because it's a little bit thicker. I don't have any lining or anything in these t-shirts, and they're obviously very thin material, so let's just say if it's cold, you're gonna see something. But if that is something that bothers you, you can obviously, you can do a lining, you can hand stitch like bra cups into it. I mean, it would look cute with a bralette under it, like who cares? But this fabric I really liked because I like will never need to wear anything underneath this, so this I can wear anywhere without ever having to think about it or question it. Like I can go to a family I can go to a family gathering, not worry about my nipples showing everywhere. But I did the exact same, obviously stitch up the side. This I did hem all the way around because the fabric is a bit thicker. It's gonna kind of just like not look clean if you don't have a clean cut edge or a clean hemmed edge just because of the way it is. I did the rolled straps like I discussed in the last one, but I didn't do anything specific to it. It's just regular old straps. But this shirt, like, it would take a good bit for this thing to come apart. Like, this is a very, like, this top will get you through years of your life, you know? And it's something that's super easy to repair because it is a more sturdy fabric, so it won't just like easily rip at something. In most things I do, especially if you're here just like trying to learn how to kind of put something together and you don't really know what you're doing, stretchy fabric is your friend to like 100%. Obviously push yourself, dive into like other types, but I avoid most fabrics that aren't stretchy unless like their pattern just really calls to me in some way. And yeah, you can literally make this out of anything, like anything. It does not take a lot of fabric, especially if you're doing a cropped top. You can change the neckline however you envision it. I didn't do anything super crazy with the straps. They all just connected at like the peaks of like the boob. And it's a fun experience, super easy. I made all of these within like a span over maybe 2 to 3 days. Like I just kept whipping them up kind of thing. And especially once you have like a trace, like outline pattern, you can like make these whenever, like super easily. It's not a problem. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, or anything else you'd like me to DIY. I will try to step out of the tank top. Because once you've done it, you've basically done it. Let me know your thoughts on keeping the shell for your tank top. I don't know, what do we think? Do we hate it? We probably hate it, but it's fine. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.